big news coming out of just felt like nowhere today. Pete Thamel reporting, obviously Oklahoma reported it. John Mateer's injury, a broken bone in his right throwing hand that he suffered in the first quarter against Auburn on Saturday night. If you look at the picture, Oklahoma Fanatics Studios, his hand is hitting the defender. I guess that's where he did it. Estimated timeline after surgery expected to be about a month, as the surgery is considered pretty straightforward. Set to have the surgery in Los Angeles on Wednesday. Dr. Steven Shin will perform the surgery. Mateer finished the Auburn game, of course, 24-17 win. Bear, this is interesting because you've got some reports out there. Let me say, you've got Kent State this week. You've got a bye. Then you've got Red River. So there's 3 weeks, essentially, 2.5, basically 3. We'll call it 3 weeks till that game. Michael Hawkins is your backup, a guy we're familiar with. He played last year. I told you off air, and I'll say it again. If I go to Red River and John Mateer doesn't play, I'm going to shed a single tear because I just can't catch a break with this game, it seems. I didn't go last year, thankfully. And I'm not saying that it's too early to project that game, although it's funny, Bear. I've already seen some Texas accounts. I think it was our friends over at Orange Bloods are already putting out there. They're not saying, what if Texas beats Oklahoma without John Mateer? They're saying, how much is Texas going to win by? What's the margin if John Mateer does not play? So they're feeling pretty confident. Bear, hopefully it's only a month, or hopefully it's 3 weeks. Hopefully he's back at Red River. But if he's not, this is a significant blow because the way that John Mateer has carried that offense, and specifically, Bear, the way he has carried that running game. If you take away John Mateer's rushing production, and listen, Michael Hawkins is fleet of foot. Michael Hawkins can run the football. He is not John Mateer. If he was, they may not have brought in John Mateer, right? Like he is obviously not John Mateer. So reaction, I know when you saw the news, it was like, oh my God, the sky is falling. Oklahoma fans are like, we can't have anything. Your immediate reaction to the news and what it means if Michael Hawkins plays in Red River and even beyond.
It's a gut punch. I mean, that's really it. You get a signature win after proving that you handle business against another Power 4 team and one that can actually have weapons on the outside, because people were starting to come up with narratives about how you don't have anything at Michigan at wide receiver. Well, you have wide receivers currently in Auburn. You have elite wide receivers. Every single one would have been a wide receiver 1 down in Norman on Saturday if you just had him. You get a win, and it feels like you lose. It feels like you get a giant slap in the face that, oh yeah, well, we have to get payback somehow for officiating being so terrible. Oh, we're going to take away your quarterback. This is your reward for winning a game because of people are saying, oh, well, officials decided to go ahead and determine who was going to come out on top. So it really is a loss. I don't even worry right now about what it comes to from the rushing attack. I don't care what it comes to when it comes to the passing attack, because you are right. I mean, Michael Hawkins can scoot. Michael Hawkins can throw the football. He can do enough to keep this offense afloat. I care about the mentality. The mentality of what has been this offense and the way that people follow Mateer into battle is such an underrated trait. And I constantly talk about this. There is a certain brand that it takes to play quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. And Mateer has it. And Baker had it. And Jalen had it. And Kyler had it. And I would say Josh Heupel had it. And a couple others had it. You don't just get to play quarterback at the school and find success if you don't act like the alpha dog. And I just don't know if you have that with Michael Hawkins in terms of personality, to where players are going to rally behind him down by 7, and they're going to want to go to war and put in that extra effort, go that extra mile, make that last blow, guarantee that they're able to push it just an extra step. They may not have it. And so that's where the situation comes in. And the other part is that, again, winning Red River is such bragging rights. Number one, you get to go ahead and talk massive shit to your rival. But the other thing is, remember the schedule afterwards. Remember what happens when you exit Dallas. Take a deep breath. Oh no, we got to go play in South Carolina. Oh no, we have to go face off against Ole Miss. Oh God, we have to go face off against Alabama on the road. We have to go face off against Tennessee in their backyard. Oh, we got to go do all these things. We saw LSU ahead.
Mizzou.
Mizzou, we get to welcome in Mizzou, but still, you have all these games that still are on the horizon, and the problem is, what if you go 9-3? Do they punish you for not having your quarterback? Maybe you beat South Carolina and you end up losing to Texas, you end up losing to LSU, and you end up losing to Mizzou, and you're 9-3 and you're sitting on the outside, and people are wondering, well, they're not going to keep us out, are you? They kept out South Carolina last year. Remember, South Carolina lost its quarterback for the second half against LSU, went 9-3, and they said, it doesn't matter. They didn't have their quarterback. We don't care. He went 9-3. That was it. So you need the win against Texas. And I just don't know if you can do it with Hawkins. Hawkins was uninspiring last season when he played in Red River. He was uninspiring in the Armed Forces Bowl. It's a major letdown. It truly is. And that, to me, is why it hurts to lose Mateer, because of just the persona of how this team has looked offensively. Even when it has been disgusting, they're able to get the job done because if you trust your quarterback, and your quarterback is the leader and he is the general, and people are wanting to go to war with him. Do you have that with Hawkins? I don't know. And that's scary. That's entirely scary.
It is. Bear, Sandman, our guy Sandman, he is convinced that Brent Venables and company are playing mind games and John Mateer is going to play in Red River. No right or wrong answer, but I'm going to ask you today, Cole the Bear Thompson, today,
no.
Does John Mateer play in Red River?
No.
18 no, excuse me. It'd be 17 days because this is tomorrow. 17 days after a hand surgery.
No. And I'll explain why.
And it's his throwing hand, obviously.
Yeah. I'll explain why. You can't bank on just that game for the rest of the season. I get it. It's a big matchup. It's a rivalry. It, in my opinion, is the second best rivalry in college football. I stand behind it. It's a unique experience. And you have a defense that is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Texas. You have an offense that's very underrated when it comes to the wide receiver position that I think can actually win its one-on-ones. You don't have a run game, but you know what? You have a quarterback that's mobile. But what you can't do is say, we're going to rush John Mateer back. What if he gets hurt in the game? And now he's out for 2 months. And now he's done for the rest of the year. You have to look at the grand scheme and say, we're going to be 5-0. Because if you lose with Michael Hawkins against Kent State, a Kent State team that fired its coach before the season even began, they have one win, and it came in overtime against an FCS program. That's your win.
They could let their defense play both ways, and they'd beat Kent State.
And they still should win. So you're going to be 5-0.
Let R. Mason Thomas run the ball. I mean, they'll win the game.
You honestly, at this point, why not? Try anything.
Let Kanak play quarterback.
Sure, why not? Sure. Let's see some reverse play. Let Isaiah Satenga just run jet sweep motions throughout the entire game.
Just play Wildcat the whole game. You'll win.
Yeah, but you have 5-1 after that matchup. You can't risk it because what if again you rush him back, he gets hurt. Now he's not going to play for South Carolina. He's not going to be available to go to travel to Neyland. He's not going to be available to go into Tuscaloosa. He may be back for LSU at this point. What are you at that point? Are you 8-3 looking to go 9-3? Are you 7-4 looking to go 8-4? Your season's thrown off the rails. You can't risk it. So I just don't think he's going to. I can't.
Yeah, if I said I thought he was going to play, Bear, the only reason I'd be saying that is because I'm hoping and trying to speak it into existence because we will be at the Red River Shootout, and it is a shame to think about that we're going to get that game without John Mateer. I hope a miracle happens. I do. But I agree with you. I just severely doubt it. I mean, depending on what South Carolina is, you may not bring him back to the Ole Miss game. People are saying he plays at South Carolina. And I mean, not making light of what a challenge of going to Williams-Brice Stadium will be. But again, if South Carolina, they continue to stumble, God, feel like they lost to Kentucky or something, or like that, right. You know what I mean? Depending on what that team looks like, maybe you say, hey, let's just give it one more week and roll the dice. And like you said, they're not going to put his future at jeopardy. If they were, he'd just try to play through this thing. And they're not doing that. So I don't think he's back either. It's unfortunate. Like you said, it is a massive blow. It absolutely changes the outlook of the Red River game. We'll cross that bridge when we get there and talk more about it, of course, when we know more the week of. But Yeah, I would imagine he'll be ruled out for that game. And that sucks. It sucks as a fan of college football. It sucks as a fan of wanting to see a great game in Red River. It sucks, obviously, if you're an Oklahoma fan. Don't want to overdo it because, again, if he's only out a month, he's only out a month. But, that might cost you a loss or two that could cost you dearly at the end of the season. So
the good news
they're going to have to get really creative with Michael Hawkins, and that running game is going to have to step up. Like, they're going to have to start running the football conventionally. That's what they haven't been doing. John Mateer's bailed them out.
Yeah.
With the run game. They're going to have to run it conventionally.
Two good things, though. Number one, you get to figure out what is your rushing attack. Because you kind of have to at this point.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You have to figure out what Torrey Blaylock is. Did we miss on Jaden Ott? What about Javante Barnes? You got to figure out what you got in that run game. And it starts against Kent State. And it's got to continue on into Red River. It does. But also, you have a good defense. I mean, like, you have, for my money, either the best or the second best defensive line in college football right now. I will stand on that. The way that you were able to get after Auburn, the way that you were able to make their offensive line, which I still think is a very good offensive line. Like, I get people were going and shitting all over it on Twitter. In my opinion, it still is a solid offensive line that lost a couple of battles because it went up against the best defensive line. And you're going to be able to do that against Texas. I think I still have my questions when it comes to Texas. And as for the Texas fans out there, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I really don't. Because if I know how important this game is, and I also am never going to tell you how to act for this matchup. Because if this is what makes this game so beautiful. But can you please make sure during the bye week, in between your tauntingness of everything going on in Norman, you also start preparing for Florida? Because the last thing you want to do is overlook what's going on down in Gainesville, and DJ Lagway rises from the ashes on one leg and kicks your ass. And now you go into this matchup at 3-2. And it really, really dampers the mood of what is Red River.
Yeah, and then it won't be all that funny, too, even if you win, if the offense still looks porous in doing so. I like what somebody commented earlier. We might be in for a 3-2 Red River shootout, 7-3, 10-7 type of deal.
No, that's the thing with Red River. This will be like
it's going to get wacky.
This will be like the one game where Michael Hawkins hits two receivers for 45 yards down the field and it's a touchdown, and Arch ends up having 600 passing yards. Like, it's weird. And then the next week it goes right back to being pedestrian and boring. That's where it is.
Want to know how big of a game the Red River shootout is? We've been talking about this game for weeks, Bear, and it's not until the middle of October. So as much as we talk about the rest of the SEC each week by week, there's this underlying Red River shootout is circled on the SEC calendar, not just the calendar for Texas and Oklahoma. So again, we'll see how John Mateer recovers from the injury. Guys, love to hear your thoughts. How does it change the trajectory for Oklahoma? If he's out for an extended period, do you think Michael Hawkins can come in and maybe save the day, or at least steady the ship and control the wheel and not let that thing go into the ditch until John Mateer gets back? That is the big question. Again, speedy recoveries to John Mateer. We hope he's back soon.